We are live, outsiders. Welcome
Right.
back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and remind you who we are, what we do. This is the We Outside Live. This is our Put the Guns Down conversation that we're having with somebody who has been here before, ladies and gentlemen. So we definitely are going to be welcoming back 2equivalent. We're going to let him, as we do with all our special guests and our family members, introduce themselves in their own words. But just a reminder, we have our Put the Guns Down conversations on a weekly basis. This is a film and documentary brought to us by Terry C. Carney Sr., which is about, just different ways through multiple communities, not only in the United States, but around the world, right? Because, gun violence is an epidemic, but a lot of things that the one thing that a lot of people don't necessarily understand in this film is as well the underlying mental health issues that lead to those gun violence or violence of any kind. So we're very much going to talk about that. And we definitely wanted to bring 2equivalent out here today. And we're going to talk about his inspiration for one of his newest tracks out right now called Guns Down. And of course, it came as the inspiration from this film and documentary. So without a further ado, Dooney, my brother and co-host, will be right back. He's not his normal humble abode, so he might be having some Wi-Fi issues. But with that said, while we're waiting to get him back, 2equivalent, again, we want to thank you for your time, bro. It's always a pleasure to get out here and speak with real ones, and you're back for a second time for a reason, bro. Because one, we always have that door open to our family members. But two, this is a very important topic, which obviously is near and dear to you, with obviously the track Guns Down that you have out right now. So on behalf of myself and OG Dooney, we thank you for taking the time with us today. I'm gonna let you go ahead and let the outsiders know who you are out there, and we're gonna do what we always do. We're just gonna talk from there. So go ahead, my brother.
Yes, sir. What's up, y'all? I appreciate you having me back again, as always. You know what I'm saying? I'm 2equivalent. I'm an independent artist from Maryland, specifically from Sandy Spring. Try to put on DMV, bring back real hip hop, and just been doing this for a couple years and just trying to put people on and just trying to make my way through the industry, and then enjoying my journey along the way. So, yeah.
There you go. There you go. Let's go ahead and hop right into it, man. Guns Down. We never have anything scripted, so let me just go ahead and start it this way. I know what the inspiration was behind the track. What was the thought process that led you to doing this track? Let's just kind of start there, and we'll just talk from there.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I've been around that, seen that, know people like actually who's been shot or shot, dealing with the violence and just being around it. And then especially when I talked to Rob Discreet, so that brought it all the way back around when he was talking to Terry about putting the guns down. He was just trying to make a track. So I was like, you know what? I always was about that, but I wasn't taking that direction and at that time, but which I should have already took that direction, but that wasn't inspiration. And then, coming up about tomorrow, it's going to be Wednesday. It's going to be the 4-year anniversary of my nephew, which got shot in Montgomery County, the first shooting in Montgomery County where we let in public school. So he was actually in public school when this happened. You know what I'm saying? So that actually spun around too. So all this is going around, that just that day alone just brings me back, you know what I'm saying? Just because, actually being my little nephew, you know what I'm saying? Just and especially in school. So, you would think that he's more protected in school, you know what I'm saying? So that's the main reason for that as well, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, all right, I think it's a good time to put out this track, and especially from the documentary, which I like. So I was like, I thought it was a good time to put it out.
Nah, man, that true. I mean, and sadly, I mean, a lot of people, and I got to know you obviously, last summer when we had the conversation with you. You were definitely the epitome of life imitating art, and unfortunately, in this scenario, very much the case, because your nephew was taken from you, and sadly, many people are taken from us at school.
Correct. My bad. I don't mean to cut you off. He didn't pass. He almost passed, but
okay.
he did make it through. So, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, going through the traumas and stuff that he's, you know, from getting shot that nobody really knows until you the one who got shot, you know, and dealing with that at a young age. So he's still going through it daily, you know what I'm saying? But he's just taking it day by day. Thank God that he's still, that he is.
Yes, that he's still with us,
Yes,
because a lot of
yes.
people are taken from us, and we're
Exactly.
lucky, and the world seems like it's a better place that he is still with us. Dooney, you know, just jumping off of what 2equivalent just said right there. What are your thoughts when you hear something like that, bro? I mean, I know you've been around a lot of different things, as you know, you get into the experiences that you've had in your life, and with the crusade that you're on to making it a better place for the youth. When you hear specifically, because sadly it's inevitable, right? That's just
Right.
it's fucked up, but that's what we live in. But Dooney, when you hear that somebody is shot at school, bro, like as an elder, like what's your just general thoughts, and what advice, if any? We lost him.
Yeah,
I know he's
got
gonna come. I know he's gonna come right back, and he's gonna come out guns a blazing. No pun intended. Probably a poor choice of words. So I do apologize. For that there. We got Dooney back, so we're gonna go ahead and get Dooney's thoughts. Dooney, what are your thoughts on that when you hear how that happened with 2equivalent's nephew, when things are getting like that, are getting taken to the school, bro?
It it doesn't matter. We don't have a safe place, bro. That's the problem.
right.
Our kids don't have a safe place, and schools surely isn't it because no one is gonna protect your kids the way you
Hmm.
protect your kids,
Right.
right? So I just wanted to offer that piece, but
Hmm.
it's heartbreaking, man, because like there used to be a safe space in a safe place.
Yeah.
Now everything there's nothing that's off limits. There's nothing that's off limits, bro.
Yeah.
And then the other piece is the mental health part now, that trauma
Yeah.
part. There's
Hmm.
so many of us being young black males and being shot. Why isn't there a support group or a site group for them to heal? It's so many of them.
Hmm.
You create things for animals.
Yeah.
You create things for dogs and cats, right?
Ah, he was going in on it too, for real.
No, no, he was. Well, and while we're waiting to get him back, I think he's saying he's saying something like we have sanctuaries for animals, right? We have
Exactly.
rehabs for animals, but when it comes to human lives, Dooney, as you were getting in there, when it comes to human lives, why don't we have these type of rehabs or facilities or places where people can come and heal? And even if it's just something as simple
Exactly.
as a
Because
group setting. I know exactly.
because
Go ahead. I asked it that
Mhm.
way for a reason, bro. You go for it.
because the powers that be say them ain't my kids.
Yep.
They're not affecting my kids. So it's not a
Hmm.
problem to them.
Hmm.
It's a problem for us. That's a us
Until it hit
problem.
them.
It's only something that we can solve.
Hmm. Ah.
No, we got to get him. We got to get him to be on the Wi-Fi.
Right.
Um, and I think he's spot on there, though, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you and if I remember correctly from the past, you grew up in that DMV area, right? So I
Yes.
mean, that's born and raised there.
Yes.
When it comes down to it, Dooney, we're gonna have to check your Wi-Fi. Are you on the Wi-Fi, Dooney?
Yeah, I'm on the Wi-Fi, man, but I'm way in Gilroy. Ain't nothing out here, man, but onions and garlic. That's all.
I
Ain't
can
nothing out here
appreciate
but
that.
onions and garlic, So,
I can
and I'm
appreciate that.
outside.
Well, it's crazy because with you growing up in DMV area, Dooney obviously from Sacramento, and that's where he's at, right? Well, sorry, no, he's in the onion fields, as he just so eloquently put it. Um, and even like where I grew up in Bridgeport, Connecticut, where I reside now in Kansas City, Missouri, which has the nickname Killer City, sadly for a reason. Like the point there is this happens everywhere
Yeah.
and anywhere, and it's really messed up. So as we get into the mental aspect of it, what's been your experience through your life 2equivalent is, especially as you're growing up as a young one, right? And you as kids, right? Oh, the world is just so beautiful and it's all perfect. And obviously as we grow older, things start to become a little bit more revealed to us. In some cases, it might happen to us as a kid. I mean, sadly, I was 7 years old when I saw somebody got deleted going to basketball practice in second grade. Couldn't go to basketball practice that night
Right.
because someone just got done on Golden Hill Ave. And but just your experience growing up in your area as a young one, and kind of to where you are now, what role do you think the mental health plays into the leading of gun violence?
Um, I would say a lot, you know what I'm saying? Because like when I was growing up in my neighborhood, we like a tight knit, you know. Like he said, he's with the onions and you know. See me, I'm with the deers and like where I was raised, you know, we was like in the country, you know. So where we was a tight knit where it took a village to raise everyone, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that definitely played a part of the mental too, because if you don't, even if you didn't get it in the house or from your father or from your dad, you always had a father figure in the neighborhood or someone you would call mom or aunt or grandma. See, it's different from nowadays because now a lot of people don't like to step in and involve themselves because they're scared of the backlash from the parent and the kid. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause back in the day, you know, you do something bad, I'm gonna whip your ass. I'm gonna take you to your mom, and then she gonna whip your ass again. You know what I'm saying? It's none of that no more. You know what I'm saying? That plays a big role in that as well. You know what I'm saying? Just how I grew up is totally different from now. You know, so but I still trying to instill that into my kids as well. I mean, they're grown now, but you know, it's always good for the neighborhood to help out. But there's a lot of people don't like to step in.
No,
That's like
you're
the
right,
big.
and you're very true there. And that's something when we had, salute to our brother and family member OG Chili Chill, who we had on this conversation over the summer as well. That was one of the biggest talking points that he had about his positioning, the accountability within the community. Because
Yeah.
like you just explained, and I know Dooney experienced this, growing up as well. And Dooney's very much a proponent of that accountability in the community. Because Dooney, we talked about that with Paula Anderson. Shout out to our sister and queen, Paula Anderson, who had her young daughter taken from this
Oh,
world as well. And we're talking about the OG. So I mean, we're on the top of accountability. It's worth talking over and over again because I'm of the thought that accountability is a dying word.
it is.
And it's messed up, Dooney. When it comes to accountability, anything that you want to add to what 2equivalent just said. But I think this is a conversation worth having over and over again, even if we got to drill it into people's heads, because
Hmm.
there is a role that we play within our own communities to curb that. What are your thoughts, or
Definitely.
what do you want to add to that, Dooney?
I say if we were the fathers and brothers and uncles and cousins, right, on the school campuses, those things wouldn't happen.
Oh yeah.
If we stepped out, us uncles and brothers and cousins and everybody stepped out on the block, all the other shit wouldn't happen, bro.
Hmm.
It's communities that's shutting it down, bro.
Yeah.
It's brothers that's coming together, communities coming together to make sure that that's not happening, bro. We just need to make that hit, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We gotta,
Exactly.
I mean, we gotta have courage, bro. I mean, how could you be afraid of your kids, bro?
Exactly. But that's a
You
lot that's
understand what
going
I'm
on too.
saying?
Sadly.
Yeah,
You
they're
know.
afraid of their own children, bro.
Hmm.
But right now, it's like they buying their children, bro.
Yeah.
The children do what they want, though. They do what they want, right?
Hmm.
You can't tell them nothing, but you're gonna buy me everything I want.
Exactly. Yeah. That's when you being trying to be a friend. You got to cut that off.
Bam.
You got,
But that generation that's over them children, that generation that's had them children, bro,
hmm.
right? They lost that too for themselves.
Facts. Facts.
So this is two
That's
generations we talking about
yeah.
that spoiled, bro, because the father was no longer in the home due to drugs and due to the prisons, right?
Hmm. Right.
We weren't in the home to rule over our young pups.
Hmm. Facts.
We got to
It
get
is.
back to it, bro. Only
Yeah.
us can save us, bro, and we can do it. We enough.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You mean to tell me we ain't got enough people that soldiers that look like us, like to get together, bro, to snuff out the bullshit?
Hmm.
Well, see, and that's one part of what you just said. That last part there, right there, dude. But then to equivalent, what you were talking about is who's going to be man enough, who's going to be woman enough to
That's
actually step up and do
that's what
that.
it is. Uh-huh.
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah, because you can sniff out the bullshit. It's just who's gonna step up and be the first
mhm,
one to take the hit.
mhm,
You know.
mhm.
So
Some people
And
don't
it
want
ain't
to
even
swallow that
taking a
pride.
hit. One thing I notice about these youngsters, if they not on dope, if they're not high, bro, I was them.
yeah,
And it's the energy that you bring when you approach them, man.
yeah, yeah.
I don't never
Facts.
worry about no youngster, even if he angry at the whole world at that time. I can approach him because I am not going to bring that energy to make him
Yeah,
turn that on me.
right. It is about how you approach too.
Yeah.
Exactly. Nah, that's right. Because you can't just come on them high head already.
No,
They've been around that already through their life. They
you
don't
got to
want
give
that.
them
You just
something
you just
different,
matching the
bro.
energy. You know.
You got to give them something different. They go high,
Exactly.
you go low.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Right. For real. You don't
Yeah.
want to match it.
Mm-mm. No, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely that's where you want the yin and the yang.
Yep.
At that point, as far because you can't. Everybody, we're all
Yeah.
humans, right? We're all humans, but we all, most anyways, think freely for themselves, or at the least, I think a good way to say it is, have their own train of thoughts or feelings of or emotions that come with us as
Mm-hmm.
individuals. And I think the easier it is for you to understand that about yourself, the easier it is, equivalent to what you're talking about, is you will take, or you'll have more success in taking the right approach when you're trying to approach that individual, whether it's a youth or somebody else that just needs help in general, especially when it comes to
Right.
the mental health aspect of it. Because when emotions get involved for us, and I'm talking as a almost 45-year-old grown adult, right? Like shit can get emotional at times. That's just who we are as humans. And I like to think, at my age with my experiences, I have a little bit better control over my emotions than maybe a,
Yeah.
a, a teenager, right?
Right.
At least that's what science tells me, anyways, right? Um, and I think it's important that we realize that if we're trying to approach somebody in those type of conversations, because
Right.
we have to understand that it's not going to be a one size fits all type of
Shit.
approach,
Not even.
right?
Yeah.
So even kind of like just staying with that notion. I mean, you had mentioned earlier, and again, thankfully, your nephew is still with us, but that's going to be trauma that he's gonna
Yeah.
carry. Like now,
Definitely.
he may, and maybe at some point he'll be able to get over where he is today, maybe with that trauma that he experienced, at least where he can manage it in a stronger and better way than he maybe was able to in the past. But in having any conversations that you've had with him, how do you feel that has affected him going forward, just from the experience and just kind of like the mental aspect of what he experienced in that shooting?
Yeah. I mean, of course, is now you got to watch it. Watch who you with. Watch your friends, and you know what I'm saying. So of course now you get that, and now you just, I guess we just say that paranoia. But what word would you say that? Just awareness. I mean, I can't really explain like how he would feel, but of course he's like always on his tippy toes and always watching his surrounding and watch who he's been around with, because even the people who did it, they were friends. So it's just like, are you my friend, or why are you here? And it's a lot of things still going today. I mean, he's just trying to take it daily, just working, going through school, and just trying to but of course he always going to have his days, and you just got to be there for him, and what I'm saying, surround him with nothing but love, what I'm saying, just the best that I know how, because I never been through it. I never got shot, thank God. But so especially him being young, I really can't understand it. I mean, but what I'm saying, it's still sad, still to the day, man. So he's
I,
always
I
still
got
going through it.
I have a question for you, equivalent. Um, I hear everything, right? And what I hear is the things you were exposed to, but not it was not directly, but indirectly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For these youngsters, tell them how you missed all that, bro.
Well,
That's a
how I
jewel
missed.
you have, bro. Like that's you got to give that jewel. Like, what was your motivation? What kept you away from all that, bro?
Um.
Even though
So,
you grew up around it, you know.
yeah. So I did have like I said earlier, we had a neighborhood where it took a village. You know what I'm saying? So if you, well, my mindset was being a leader. You know what I'm saying? So standing my ground, and I'm not gonna do what you're doing because I'm a follower. You know what I'm saying? So good thing that I had my mom. She's a strong mom. She raised me. I have my older brother, so I'm the youngest out of five of us. You know, I have a sister, older sister, and I have three. I have an older sister, three brothers, and my younger sister that's younger than me on my dad's side. So I was raised by them, and you know, said they always kept me out of trouble if I was trying to do this and smack on the hand. Like, come on, even though they chose to choose their path, but they made sure that nah, you ain't gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? And just
Right,
me seeing it and knowing the outcome of it. You know what I'm saying? Because
right.
nowadays it's like a lot of rappers, they'll rap about it, but they don't tell you the outcome. Like, yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
can sell this, you can do that, but what's the outcome? Life in
Right,
jail and this,
right.
you know what I'm saying? And you
Yeah.
can't you
Then what?
can't choose your how can you say you can, I don't know, I don't know how I don't want to say that, but yeah, but just being a leader and just being around good people, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's your choice. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? But it is leading up to the community, you know what I'm saying? So if you had a good community around you and a good headset and parents being, I mean, because I was growing around with my mom only, and my dad he was in and out, you know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
my mom, she was a good mom and made sure that whatever I wanted or needed, she'll try to get, you know what I'm saying? Even though we were still, underneath, we wasn't rich or nothing. So,
Right,
you know, just
right.
being a, just being around good people and keeping your head straight and just trying to be a good leader, just just look around and don't just ignore. Just see. Say if you quiet and just watch, you'll see.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that, man. Kids need to know that, bro. When I hear stuff, I hear the positive, bro. You know, because I was the other side of that coin, right?
Yeah,
So, and I was like, damn, to have missed that, would be a blessing, right?
yeah, yeah,
Not to have to be directly involved in that, but there was a strength and there's a guidance, and most important, there was a community and family around
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's
you, and a
that's my
strong
that.
mindset.
Oh, so my bad. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, I was saying, and a strong mindset.
Yes, yes,
Well,
yep.
I think that's important from what you guys are talking about with respect to, two equivalent what you were talking about earlier, and Dunia, what you just mentioned right there, and two equivalent with you talking about your upbringing as far as how you were able to keep yourself out of those scenarios that other individuals of any age, sadly can't, for one reason or another, find themselves not in those scenarios, right? I think it's important to note that, you know, some people out there don't have the luxury, and yeah, I'm
No,
going to call it a luxury,
it
uh,
is
of having a two-parent household. Some don't have
exactly,
the luxury of having a one-parent household. They end up
exactly.
in the foster system or the juvie system or something
Yeah,
like that. So I think there is very much an importance that we need to start to realize in the world, and it has to start because we're talking at the community level, right? It
yep.
has to start in that neighborhood level, in
It
that
has to.
community level of caring for all of the youth within a certain neighborhood, whether it's just the neighborhood, whether it's just the block, whether it's a whole town, a whole city, with whatever initiatives that it might be, even if it's not something that's directly funded. Well, you know what? It doesn't take any money to look after your neighbor at the end of
Yeah,
the day. And damn sure doesn't take any money to look after the youth in your neighborhood.
that's
Because look at it from this perspective, and I'm curious to get both of your thoughts on this. If you know something's going on, right, but you're turning a blind eye to it, how accountable does that make you for something that might happen if you knew what was going on and it's wrong, like just outright out, like there's the line, you just know, that shit just is not okay. How
Can I answer
accountable?
first?
Not go for it. Go for it, dude.
If I have no conscience, it don't matter, bro.
Right.
That's my answer
Yeah.
Yes.
for those people.
Yes. And what could we do differently, right? So, too equivalent. I'm going to let you answer kind of where I was going first with that question and thought there, and then we'll come back to that second piece that I just kind of brought up from what Dooney said as well.
Well, as me, you know what I'm saying, I would tell you, like, if I do see it or if I know you, I would let you know, like, that's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you somebody I know. But once again, like, you don't want to know, if you see it, you don't want to step in because you don't know that person, you don't know that outcome. So it's 50-50 each. So, you know what I'm saying? So if I know them, or even if I don't know them, I would still say, like, if it's wrong or not, you know what I'm saying, even if you see something wrong. But half of the time you're not, and half the time you will. So I
I
definitely
think for me, I always look in the eye.
got
If
to.
I can see the consciousness of a man and he's not
Oh,
spaced out, I'm gonna
yeah.
say something to him.
Right,
But if
right,
he's
right.
gone, I only can be there to make sure he doesn't harm no women or children or no
Yeah.
innocent people. That's all I
Right,
could do.
right,
But
right.
saying something to him, he's gone mentally,
Exactly.
and you can see it, right? And it's a scary look, bro, in these
No,
kids' eyes. You know? It's a real frightening look, bro, in their eyes when it's just blank, bro.
yeah.
Because that's a challenge to be able to get through to somebody who has that blank stare that you're talking about.
Yeah, that had that. Yeah, that had that. Yeah.
And think about the trauma for you to be able. It's hard for me to do that as an adult. You can do that as a child.
Right.
What did the child experience? What traumatized that child to
Exactly.
where he can just blank out like that and
Right.
go into that? That's his safe place,
Uh-huh.
right? Right? Um, where no one else can enter or nothing can enter that space, right?
Yeah.
What did that child go
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. Because the amount of trust that was broken in order to put somebody into that place.
Shit.
through?
That's
To
scary.
be able
That's scary to think about.
for a child to shoot another child, you got to do the same thing.
Nah, for real.
You,
For
you
real.
got to become unconscious, bro. You can't see that person as a human being and shoot them.
Exactly. Right. Right.
You
Right.
have to thingify him. You have to make him a thing, something that offended you, something you don't like, something that's not good. You can't see him as a human being and walk up into him and shoot him, bro.
Right. Because nobody in the right mind would do it anyways. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be in the state of mind of, you know what I'm saying? So
And we always say again, hurt people, man.
yeah, and
You know what I
that's true.
mean? Hurt people, hurt people. When I see the children do that, I think about what happened to that child.
Yeah, man.
Well, I think that begs the question, Dooney, to that point, right? And you were talking about earlier, when do we stop the hurting and begin the healing, right? Like we know, with the statistics showing that 685 people on a daily basis are taken from this earth due to gun violence, and again, that does not account to the people who are affected from those taken from us. That doesn't include to
Right,
equivalent, like you had mentioned, your nephew did make it through that experience of getting shot, and so we're just talking about those that are actually taken from us, right? We know that we're not going to go from 685 taken daily to you know
right,
100 tomorrow, but we have to realize what is at least part of the problem, right? And that's the other piece of Terry's film and documentary here of Put the Guns Down, in the sense of the mental health. And you know what? I think it's really messed up because we mentioned this. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on this too, equivalent, and then Dune, I want to get your thoughts on it as well because it's systematic. It's systematic in a lot of different ways. But the point I want to kind of hone in on real quick is the fact that if we really think about it, we're talking. Let's go back to the examples that we mentioned that you both were mentioning a few minutes ago, Dooney, specifically when you brought up you look into that young one's face, or a human of any kind, of any age, right? And you're trying to get through to them um on anything, right? But there's just this blank stare, right? There's
Yeah.
something going on there with the mental, right? We know, again, that one conversation is not just going to fix their mental, right?
Nah.
That's something that I mean, that's trauma that needs to be addressed. That is healing that needs to take place. You don't heal from that type of mental capacity, or in this case, lack thereof, in one conversation, right? So what does that mean? That means there's a lot of time. Time, we know, equals what? Time equals money when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm gonna say it like I'm gonna say it, because it's sadly the fact. There's no return on investment for all of the money that has to go in to heal that one person, let alone the countless millions and millions and millions of people who need that same healing in this entire world, right? So when I put it that way, to equivalent, I want to get your thoughts as well. When you hear me say it, I'm calling a spade, bro. Like, sadly, we're not getting the mental health that we need as a society, in any country, in any community, in any city, any fucking town, state, or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no return on investment in putting into
Right.
the mental health that the society needs. So what does that make you feel when you hear it that way? And then, Dooney, I want your thoughts after 2equivalent as well.
Well, how would I feel? I mean, I feel like we as just us right here as men, we don't even have anything for us for our mental health. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can see how, no disrespect to the women, they get like mental like groups. You know what I'm saying? We need like groups for us as well. You know what I'm saying? For our mental health, it's like a lot of things that even like I went through, like losing my daughter when I'm 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? The cancer. Like I didn't have any help. I
Sorry
didn't
to hear
have
that.
any. Thank you, thank you. So I didn't have any help. I didn't have anybody, like no counseling. Didn't have any type of any place that I can go for that. You know what I'm saying, as well. I just, me and my wife, you know what I'm saying, but she was my girlfriend back then, but you know what I'm saying, we went through it ourselves. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of people don't have a lot of good people behind them or surround them to get through some type of trauma like that. But that's why we do need a lot of um, support groups out here. You know what I'm saying? It benefits everyone in the long run, because the stuff that's going on could have been prevented already if we already had those groups. You know what I'm saying? So that's like a major thing that we really need, because that could prevent all this stuff. Like, not all of it, but most of it. You know what I'm saying? Especially for the kids that, like me, I only have my mom, but my dad was still in and out, but some don't have none. Like you said, they're in foster homes. They don't have no really groups for them either. They just sit them there and then ship them to another home, and then get shipped to another home. Like nobody's really, you get your little therapy, but they don't, that's they just taking the money, I think. So you just need to really sit them down, like groups, even like with kids with them, like them who've been on the street, so they can really vibe off. You know what I'm saying? Not just some guy just sitting there trying to tell you something when he ain't even been involved in it. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
So that's why I think the groups are more needed, so everybody can feed off. Like, oh, I did this yesterday. Oh, you did that too. Oh, this is what. How did you get through it? You know what I'm saying? So we can
Make it
vibe
more the
off each other.
norm. Make it
So
more
that's
the
like
norm.
Understand, so they can understand that they're not alone. They're not the
exactly
only
that's the
one.
main purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, sure. But
No, go ahead, Dooney, because I definitely want Dooney's got to check his wife,
I know that.
his
I do
Wi-Fi
go in and
over in
out.
that onion field, bro.
Right.
Um, but no, I think you're spot on, right? Because think about it from something that you were saying earlier, right? You look at people who are alcoholics, right? They have,
Yeah.
you have like AA for, Alcoholics Anonymous,
Exactly.
and they even have for like, family members of alcoholics, right? They have Al-Anon, right? Where that is for people who have lived a life experiencing someone within their household where they've been affected by an alcoholic,
Yeah.
right? But why is it not common to have a group similar to that of people who are either collateral damage, that
Exactly.
have family members or close friends that fall victim to gun violence, whether they're taken from us or not? Why is
Right.
that not the norm, right?
Exactly.
because
Go ahead, Dooney.
Biden stimulates the economy for them, bro.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yep. And it's crazy because sadly in the world that we live in, it's all about money. It's
No,
all
it
about
is.
money. And with a world that has 85% of the participants in the
Mhm.
world that we live in being followers, well, if you tell people that, you know, money is the key to everything, well, when I mean we have roughly what 8.2 billion people in the world, give or take, right, on a given day. When you take
Mhm.
85% of that, we're talking about maybe 6.7 billion
Yeah.
or so. I might be off. So if you have 6.7 billion people already out here thinking that, well, you know, 685 people getting shot and taken from us every day, not accounting for the ones that are lucky enough to survive it physically, but are they surviving it mentally? Why is, you know,
It's
it's the system's messed up, man. The
Right.
system is
No.
messed up because
Yeah.
the mental health does not fix the money problem. It's more money going out for that than anything. And Dooney, what you were talking about, in respect to, you know, just kind of what it is, like that should be the fucking norm, where
The
we're
shit.
offering these help to people,
Yeah.
but it doesn't pay, like Dooney was saying. It does
Yeah.
not pay to do that. It doesn't pay to fix it. So like, it's like, let's just, it just kind of is what it is. And how can a human consciously, like you had kind of, you know, were alluding to earlier, if you can't if you can't make that determination that that shit is just wrong, then you as a human being are not mentally fit to be making those type
Exactly.
of decisions.
But that's
they,
most of them. Most of them aren't mentally fit
they
neither
don't
themselves.
care about that. That's why they do what they do,
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
right?
They ain't all they ain't screwed up tight. You know. So
If there's no violence in our community, bro, police officers,
everybody be out of
ambulances, DAs, public defenders, judges, uh, the county jails, prisons, correctional facilities, juveniles, all those things shut down, bro. What you mean?
jail.
Why wouldn't they do that?
Yep. Exactly. And then they won't make money. And
That
that's when
we have
mm,
to shut that system down.
yeah.
We have to stop buying into their system and selling our souls and to go into them systems for these crumbs, bro.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely right. And
It's the only
you
way.
know, having you're absolutely right. And that's where it comes down to, what 2equivalent was just saying with respect to, like, well, if they're not going to do it, we're going to have to. We
Yeah.
got to make
Exactly.
this the new norm as patriarchs, right?
Right.
As the patriarchs and the elders, somebody has to step up, and it doesn't take anything. What's it take? It takes time. All
Yeah.
you can't, if you can't give yourself an hour. I'm just saying this on the low end. If you can't give up an hour of your week, you know, to have those type of conversations, even if it's just with one person, right? Because and I think when it comes to like music, right, 2equivalent, I think you can relate, right? You do music because you love and you are passionate about
Yeah.
music. We learned that last summer on We
Mm-hmm.
Outside, right?
Yep.
And
Yep. Yep.
I know you well enough from that conversation and just in general building the relationship with you since then, that you want to be able to sustain yourself to do the music, right? You don't necessarily do the music to make the money, right?
Yeah.
And if we look at it from that perspective, the power and message that comes from doing something with just the passion behind it, such as the topic that we're having right now with, you know, curbing gun violence, but most importantly, the underlying health issue of the mental health that comes with it. Man, if you can't give up an hour of your time just to reach that one person,
Right.
whether
Right.
it's through these conversations or through your music, because I'm the same way in that regard. Like, whatever the message is of these conversations or music or whatever, as long as we're reaching one person, the way I look at it, and I'm curious what your thoughts are. The way I look at it from having these conversations, well, we're leaving the world off a better place with just, even if it's just tonight's conversation, reaching one person, because that's one
Right.
person that was not touched by this type of message previously. What are your thoughts on that, 2equivalent? And then I definitely want you to add to that as well.
Um. So like with my music, I feel like, you know, it's a form of, what do you say, for me, it's therapy. You know what I'm saying? So that's how. But like through my music, I would say it helps a lot of people because I've got phone calls or people text me like, you know what I'm saying, like, oh man, you saved me today. I had one of those, like I was gonna kill myself, you know what I'm saying, and then I was going through it, but your music helped me through, you know what I'm saying, through my situation. No names and all none of that, but you know what I'm saying. So that's why well, he can go. He can go. I'll come right back. I'll come right
Yeah,
back to
no,
him.
go ahead, Dooney. You know, even if this the conversation just from tonight reaches just one person, how much of a difference do you think that makes in the world, right?
I just don't believe in reaching one, bro. This world is
No,
big. If I'm reaching one, I'm at least reaching 10, 20, 30, 40, or 100.
whoa.
Because each one gonna touch one, bro. Each one gonna touch one. And I just think, it's imperative that we do some touching, bro. Uh, I think what we should do is issue a challenge, right? Start issuing challenges, man, for our brothers and for men, to step up and to do things like
You know, we'll get Dooney's thoughts on that as well, but no, I think it's right, and Dooney's spot on, right? Like, you know, the goal is not necessarily to hit just one person, right? You know,
Yeah,
the
but
point of it is, you know, just knowing
don't
if
get
we
to
could just make a difference. Yeah, go ahead, 2equivalent.
it's got to start somewhere. So
Yes,
if you get one person, you can get another person. That person can tell another person. The goal is to reach everyone, but if we can start off with one, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? So, but the main purpose is to reach worldwide. You know.
yes, no,
the
absolutely.
rock in the
Go
pond,
ahead,
bro.
Dooney. Yeah.
The rock in the pond.
Yep.
It'll make
Make
many
the ripple.
ripples.
The ripple. I know. I got you.
No, it's very true, and I
That's called a
think
ripple effect right there.
Yes,
even when
sir.
you think, you know, no one's watching or no one's listening, there's always someone out there watching or listening, right? And what we're talking about has that effect, and I love how you put it, you know, that music is therapy for you, 2equivalent. And yeah, I think, you know, people as the individuals that we are, I think the challenge is, right, because society always tries to put us in a box,
Yeah.
and
Always.
especially the majority of our life, especially when they put us in the boxes that are schools or prisons or monasteries, you know, as well as Dooney, you know, calls his experience for 30 years. He was in a monastery. He wasn't in prison. Prison's in your mind, ultimate, right? But when society tries to put you in a box, that start or tells you what you should or shouldn't be, that starts to now it starts to take away from your individualism, right?
Yeah.
And I think it ends up being harder when we talked about earlier that 85% of the world are followers.
Yeah.
Well, if everybody else is just doing XYZ, well, then I need to be doing XYZ as well, right?
Right. Right.
And I think that's the challenge. But I think you hit the nail on the head with you know, you finding something that you're passionate about, and ultimately is a therapy for you, which is your
Yeah.
music, which was the same thing for me when I quit drinking alcohol over 4 years ago. I come from a family of addicts. I needed to immediately replace my drinking with something, and literally
Uh-huh.
as soon as I was done making that decision, I'm no longer going to drink anymore, I at least, you know, from my therapy and getting through that process, it was picking the pen up and just starting to
Yeah.
write thoughts and get it out that way. So I think you're on to something there. You know, that's why I love having these conversations, right? And especially when it comes to these conversations being unscripted, these ladies and gentlemen, you know, tapping in live with us, we appreciate it. There's not one question. We are human beings who get on here to have a human conversation, and tonight we're talking about putting the guns down and underlying mental health issue, right? We've come up with a couple different really, really fucking great ideas. And guess what? Very simple ideas that don't cost fucking a dollar, not a dollar. It takes a little bit of our time as human beings. And a couple of them that we've already talked about simply are, hey, Erlyn Gray, we appreciate you tapping in on YouTube. We do this every Monday. So we appreciate it. You know, one of the things that you had said was just coming together in the community, 2equivalent, of getting the groups of, you know, the elders in the community together to be that outlet for the youth,
Right.
right? Because
Yeah.
we can do that. We can do that,
Yeah.
right? Or letting people know, hey, you know what? It's okay to be yourself as an individual. You're married. I'm married, right?
Mm,
At the end of the day, what happens when you find, your spouse or a partner in life? Well, what happens is you start to be attracted. In some cases, sadly, for some people, it's just physical. But the point that I'm making here
yeah,
is you get attracted to that person as an individual, right?
yeah,
One thing, and this is my second marriage, and it's going a lot better than my first. I know it's going to
mhm,
continue to go that way, and you want to know why? Because I understand, and my wife also understands that it's important that while we have come together as a family and
mhm,
as spouses and partners, we maintain our individualism. Doesn't
exactly. Yeah,
mean that we
it's
change who
important.
we are. We're going to adapt, but finding that individual that you are, finding that passion, finding whatever therapy works for you
Right, right.
from a mental health standpoint,
Yeah.
nobody can take that away from you.
No.
Let me just kind of ask it this way: how has that helped you from your mental um your mental health journey throughout world? How has music and finding the therapy that music is for you, how has that helped you in maybe the most challenging of times, where, because we all have them, we have those bad days,
Definitely.
we have those moments where, like, oh, fuck this
Right.
world, this shit's fucked up, this one did me
Right.
wrong, my job did me wrong, whatever the case might be. So how have you found music as your therapy to get you through some of those most challenging of times that you've experienced?
Um. Every day, like every day, it's always something, you know. So I stay writing every day. Like when I was little, when I was younger, you know, I always my brother, you know, taught me how to write, as I told on the last podcast, you know. So like especially when my daughter passed, that was definitely like that's when I start turning that on even more because it helped me like write and jot down stuff instead of acting it out. I just jotted it
Mm,
down, you know what I'm saying, and
mm,
just made a song out of it, you know what I'm saying, and just keep it's definitely my therapy. You know, it helps me out daily, like, you know what I'm saying, because I could have went this way, but I chose to go that way, you know what I'm saying, and that's mainly because of music. Music did save me, I can say that, you know what I'm saying, and it's still saving me still today, you know what I'm saying, and that's why when I make music, you can, if you hear it, you can hear it, that definitely I put my heart and soul into it because I'm saying like that happened to me or I've been around it, you know. So it's a story and it's facts, you know. So and you can hear that like, oh damn, he been through this or he been through that. Like Time Heals All and you know, Road to Success, like different songs that I put out that's me, you know what I'm saying? So every song I feel is me, you know what I'm saying? But you can hear what mood I was in when I wrote that song. You know what I'm saying? You can hear like on this song, you'll hear it this way or underrated. I sound like a little angry because on that mood that's how I was feeling, you know. So that definitely I'll take my anger out on, you know what I'm saying, or situation I am on music. So it definitely helps me a lot.
Well, it's a health because it's a healthy way to do it, right? You're still able to get your emotions out and work through your emotions in a way that is not physically or mentally going to be victimizing somebody else or yourself
Exactly.
as
Right.
well.
Right.
Which I think is important. And I think people have to realize and understand too that sometimes you might have to go through a couple things that in order to find what ultimately works for you.
Yeah.
Because again, I could sit here and again, whenever I talk to somebody who might be having issues with alcohol, like, I can share my journey and what worked for me all I want. But
Exactly.
what worked for me is not
No,
going to work for that
we're
same
favorite.
person,
Exactly.
right? So
Exactly.
my only advice to anybody would be, just you have to go through those steps and processes of what feels right for you, what feels comfortable, but most importantly, when it comes to the mental health aspect, what's going to be
Right.
exercising your brain in an effective way, right? Like, if we look at it from a physical standpoint, somebody that wants to go to the gym to work out and get their muscles healthy,
Yeah.
like, well, you know what, you're not going to go up and throw up 225 on the bench the first time that you ever touch some weights, right?
Right.
You have to work up to that, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's really no different if you're trying to find a medium or something that's going to work for you in a mental health capacity, and don't worry about what somebody the fuck else is going to think about you
Yeah.
or it
I
when it comes down to you. Go ahead,
That's
Dooney.
um I can say you doesn't have to be a limerick or a rhyme or poetry or a rap or a
Hmm.
song. but everyone can journal, bro. The best way to heal is to get it out of you.
That's what it. Yes, that's see. There you go. There you go.
It gives you your power back once you
Mm-hmm.
get it out of you. If you have
Yeah.
no one else to talk to, but that paper,
Shit. It's a different.
sometimes it's even more powerful to get it out of you and put it on paper than to have a conversation with someone about it.
Yeah. No, true. It's facts.
It's
It's facts.
not
That.
speaking back to you. It's not about speaking back.
Uh,
It's about the getting that out of that person, out
yeah.
of
And
you.
not bottling it all up. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what that.
yeah.
Yeah. That's yeah, man.
It's the
Exactly.
release, bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we all know what happens when you keep something in so long and that pressure builds up and builds up and
That's what's
builds up.
happening
Yeah.
with those
That's
What's
and
kids,
then,
gonna
bro.
happen?
And they when you take all the things out of the community, first they took all the different things in school, like the trades. They took all them out of school. So now
mm-hmm.
our boys, what do they focus on, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do they focus on? Then they come home and they took all the sports and all the athletic programs and all of everything else out of the community,
Yeah.
right? And then you take all the men that used to sit down and teach them how to box and how to
Mm-hmm.
fight, right? And then teach them how to play baseball and do all that. The brothers, the cousins, the uncles, the dads, and put them in prison or they're on drugs.
Right.
What are these kids left with?
Streets.
Yeah. No,
this.
it's so true because
It is.
people
It's
are
the
gonna
streets.
go where, and it's crazy because it's what I'm about to say. It's like a false narrative, right? Because what I was about to just say with what Dooney was ending there before the onions kicked him off, and you inserted the word streets because that's what you have, right?
Yeah.
It's fake love. It's like Drake said, fake love, right?
Yeah.
Because people are gonna go to try to find something to fill that hole that they're missing in their heart or what they think in their mind that they are missing. But is
Yep.
the streets really it?
Right.
Like in more times than not, I think we can all collectively agree going that route is really never going to end well. You had said it earlier to equivalent. Once you turn to the streets in that capacity, right? Like it's usually going to end up one of two ways because very
Yep.
few actually survive the
For
streets.
real.
And one of those one or two ways, like you were talking about earlier, it's dead or in jail.
Or
Like
jail.
those are typically
Yeah.
the statistics show it. Like I'm a
Yep.
person that follows the numbers. Like Jay-Z
Mm-hmm.
said it, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And the numbers
Exactly.
tell you
Right. Right.
that statistically that's what happens when you go to the streets. So it's crazy because people think that they're going to the street life because they're going to find something that they're missing there. And you know
Yeah.
what? Temporary as that may be,
But
is that really the long-term fix, right? Go
yeah.
ahead. What do you want to add to that?
But then again, some of them turn to the streets. You know, what I'm saying, looking for acceptance as well. You know, what I'm saying, because they don't have it like I said earlier, they don't have a mom, have a dad, so they go to the street for acceptance. You know what I'm saying? They just needed someone to accept them or make them feel, fill that void that they're missing. But not knowing the whole time that was the wrong way of going about it. But sometimes it might be, sometimes it ain't. It depending on who you around, but then you don't choose that, So when you went too deep, you went too deep. So
And sometimes there's just no getting out of that when you're in that deep.
exactly.
And it's too bad because I mean, circling back around to the beginning of the conversation, like if you're not getting that type of guidance, let's just call it guidance, if not love, right? At least the right
Yeah.
type of guidance at home. People, especially young individuals who have not gotten to that stage of life where they understand that they are an individual and they can truly think for themselves,
Yeah.
um, they're just going to go look for that acceptance
Yeah.
somewhere,
For sure. For
Bro,
sure.
because there's going to be those
negative
false.
thinking,
Go ahead, Dooney.
negative attention is better than no attention at all. It becomes
Exactly.
positive and it
Hmm.
feels
To them, because they're not knowing and they never got that before. So they don't know,
Yep, they didn't have that guidance.
Exactly. So
And it's crazy because we were talking about it early in this conversation. For those that grow up in a one person household or people who might not have both parents, and they end up going into to the system, or even if they're lucky enough to, you know, find themselves in a scenario where they might be with another family member, there's still trauma that's going to be carried over from that. And
Of
we,
course.
as you know, man, are we really our brother's keeper, right? Because if we can't look out for the youth in our community, and it doesn't have to be anything big, right? Like, one thing I love, you know, one of the first like real conversations that I ever had with Dooney way back when, he was talking about, he was out putting a stage together or something, with a young kid, and you know, Dooney smiles at everybody, you know, because eye contact is important.
Yeah.
And you know, body language is important. And the young cat that Dooney was working with that day was like, yo, bro, yo, OG, like everybody that you see, everybody's just coming up to you and just knows you. And Dooney's like, I don't know these people. I'm just putting out a good vibe. I'm
Vibe.
smiling.
Yeah.
I'm letting
It's
my
just about
body
the
language
aura.
do the thing. And that's all it takes.
Hmm.
That's all it really takes when it comes down to it, because
Right.
people feed off of other people's emotions. They
Definitely.
really do, off of the frequencies, the energies, and it could be as simple as that. Again, all of the things that we've been talking about, ladies and gentlemen, who are joining us live, for this Put the Guns Down, you know, We Outside conversation. We appreciate you, and this is officially going to drop. So if you're just tapping in, it's gonna live forever on YouTube. You know, on our YouTube channel. It's important to realize everything that we've talked about. We've not talked about spending $1. We're just
Mm-mm.
talking about doing the same thing that we're doing here today, and that's have human conversation.
Right.
Because if you can have a legitimate, pure intention filled human conversation, the possibilities that could come from that are endless, are
Right.
absolutely endless. Dooney, before the onion field kicked you off the Wi-Fi again there, bro. We were talking about that experience when you and I were having a conversation of when you were working with that young kid one day, where he thought like you knew everybody that was passing by you, and saying, see, the universe be doing this to us, man. It doesn't want us to have
Right.
these
For
conversations
real.
sometimes,
That's
which tells us
crazy.
we are doing something right. Because I
Right.
know
For
Dooney's hooked
real.
up to Wi-Fi right now.
Right.
So why is that happening? Right? Because we're having
Exactly.
human conversation, which is something that doesn't happen often enough, in my opinion,
Yeah.
for what it matters. Right? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. I'm no different.
Right.
But
Right.
like
That's facts, though.
we're talking about saving human lives, and we're talking about saving, you know, addressing, you know, mental health as it comes down to saving human lives as well. And you know, Dooney, in your experience from the story that I was sharing there with you, where that young king that you were working with one day literally thought that everybody that came by and you passed knew you, and you're like, bro, I don't know not one of these people. You want to add to that, of meaning what has taken that approach to people with just that openness of humanity? How has that led to some of, you know, the positive relationships that you've been able to encounter in your life? Because it's very much on brand with what we're talking about here tonight.
I say with a smile, bro, you can open any door, bro.
Hmm.
Any door, bro. You can get through any door with a smile, bro. In a suit.
Right.
It's just I don't know what reason is there to be angry at somebody, bro.
Right.
One did
Right.
nothing to me, bro, and that's what forgiveness for those that have done something to me,
Yeah.
bro.
Right.
It's just, it's just a choice, bro, to be at peace, bro.
It is. Definitely is a choice.
Why, otherwise, I'll be sick. My body will be at dis-ease if I'm always angry.
Hmm.
That's where
It's
all the diseases come in because your body's at dis-ease. It's not meant to be like that. It's not to be meant to be in that hypervigilant. That what you were speaking about earlier is that hypervigilant state that your nephew's in,
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
on alert,
Yep.
watching
On alert.
everything,
Yeah.
seeing everything.
Exactly. Right.
That means he has no peace.
Right. Right.
and he's got to find that
So,
peace, and he's got to do that through the choices that are going to work for him, because we already talked
Exactly.
about it. Not everything works the same as it would for me, as it would for you, as it would for Dooney, as it would for your nephew, you know,
Exactly.
well, the whole
going
thing is
through that
this.
experience.
What we do is we just say we give him what we can and hope
Right.
that he can use it and take a piece of it and create what he wants.
Right.
Because right
Exactly.
now he just don't know what it look like.
Yeah.
He don't know he needs to vent.
No. Yeah.
Well, Unc say,
Exactly.
man, just put it on paper, bro. How you feeling, man? Try it. Tell him, put it on paper. How you feeling, man? Because no one knows.
Exactly.
Put it on
Exactly.
paper and see what he says and see how it turns out, bro. But it's a power, I promise you. Like he said, it's the reason why he did it, and I did it all my life, bro. I have to put it on paper. Because if not, those thoughts become reality. It
Yeah.
becomes your truth. And then you act it out.
Yep.
Yes.
But it starts with a thought.
Yep. That's yep. Everything starts with a thought. Yeah. Right. Right.
You can make it your reality, right?
That's
And you
what.
can make
Yeah.
it whatever truth you want to make it.
Right. That's what you call manifestation.
Yes, and that's a
Manifest.
choice. Like you were talking earlier too. It's a choice, right?
Yep.
It's a choice. No different
It is.
than it sounded like. Because I definitely want to come back. We're going to start to wind down here to be respectful of your time. But I definitely want to talk more about your track as well. I mean, you had talked about earlier when we talked about your track "Guns Down" that was inspired by this "Put the Guns Down," um, film and documentary brought to us by Terry C. Carney. You had thought about doing something like this before, but you just hadn't, right? So
Yeah.
you had addressed that, but kind of looking back at it now, track's done. Track, if I'm not mistaken, because I've definitely heard it. It's out and available, right, on
Yeah.
any platform that you can go out to. Going through that process now, from when you first had that moment, be like, yo, now's actually time to do this track.
Yeah.
Now's the time, to now having it completed. It's out there. What does that mean to you, actually going through that process now of that initial thought to say, yo, it's time, and now with it being out there in the world, what does that mean for you actually having it out there now?
Um, each time that I do put out a song, it means a lot, because it's like I'm letting you guys know my insight. I'm letting you know my story and my how and what stuff that I went through. You know what I'm saying? So it's you always worried about being judged. You know what I'm saying? Like how would they, But me, I really don't really care for that. You know what I'm saying? But as soon as I put it out, that song, once I heard that beat that Rob sent to me, I wrote that song like probably like 30 minutes, and I felt like it was right, especially the timing and my life or how I'm living right now. It just matched. I was like, God, I guess God just brought it to me at that time. How everything was just falling in place. You know what I'm saying? And then when I heard that beat, I was like, it just clicked. You know what I'm saying? And I just asked my wife, she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "It's late. Look, I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? Leave me alone for a sec. Because once I'm in that mindset, then everything was just coming. How do I feel and what happened? And matter of fact, I just saw this on the news. That shit killed me. You know what I'm saying? And it just came like a masterpiece, as I say. And then now it's out. It's like I hope everyone loves it, like it, and I just want to hear the feedback on it. And that was definitely like a weight off my shoulder as well. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
That
it's
that and that
important that
something
you say that, because you spoke your truth on that track. Like
definitely.
and that's how all of your music is, and getting to know your catalog. But this one, obviously, being very different, given what it is that you're speaking about there. Guns Down is what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. It's a track recently just put out by 2equivalent. It is available. You guys all need to go and hear the message of what he's speaking on, because the track is really no different than what we're talking about here tonight. It's
Yeah,
about having these real life human conversations, and these are conversations that have to be had, even if it is starting at that community level, or even if it's just starting out here once a week, every Monday, when we come out and do these conversations. It's got to start somewhere, because if nobody's going to do it, well, then guess what? It's just going to get worse.
yeah,
It's going to be perpetually worse if
right,
nobody's taking action.
yeah.
um
And this and like especially for this type of track that I never like put out, like, you know what I'm saying, like the Guns Down and something about this type of stature, you know what I'm saying, that's needed. That's another like milestone that I made too as well. So I'm like, hopefully, you know what I'm saying, people listen to it and take heed, you know. That's what I want as well, you know what I'm saying, because I never like put a gun down, but I always put a little here and there, and you know, always positive vibes, and but this one I went straight at it and what I think that needs to be done, you know. But who am I to say? But you know.
Well, the beautiful thing is, bro, you're just a vessel that the creator and universe made you out to be, what you're here for, walking in the physical world, right? And writing that track is really no different, because you're walking, you're an individual that's walking with purpose in general. But when it comes down to putting out these type of messages where other, and let's just call it what it is, other hip hop artists are afraid to do,
Yeah,
and tackle, because again, coming full circle here, where we're going to start to wind down here, but they're going to be afraid and fearful of what others' reactions are
yeah,
going to be
yeah.
of
That's
that.
that's
The
that's it.
critic,
Yeah. Hmm.
and I commend you for that, because in a medium that is hip hop and specifically rap, um, of the hip hop culture, a lot of people won't do what you did with this track. They won't.
Hmm.
They won't. Like a lot of filmmakers, even, so how, hats off to Terry as well, because I know what it took. And I'm not talking from
Right.
the
Right.
financial aspect of, that's just one piece of it. I'm talking about what he poured in to this film and this
Right.
documentary, and what he has planned out going forward for this. Not a lot of people in his position that had the means to put something like this together. Probably 98%, 99% of people would not put out and put together the film that he did. So I commend the both of you for doing that, because
Appreciate
to
you.
me, those are the real one percenters in the world. People that are not afraid to conform to what society tells them you should or should not do. Or
Right.
I'm gonna, you as a creative, yeah, I'm gonna take my energy, my thoughts, that I'm given right now, and instead of writing something about, and I'm not, because I know your music, you're not doing this.
Mhm.
I'm just speaking in general, right? I'm gonna go write a song about shaking ass or selling drugs or this, that, and the other thing, or
Yeah.
try, or in your scenario, I do want to hone in on this. In your scenario, instead of just saying, trying to make, I'm gonna make, I want to go, I want to make a hit record. No, you were like, yo, I'm gonna go make something for the people, for the
Right.
world, and most importantly for the youth and those in my community of which I've grown up through, and communities like
Exactly.
mine, not just the United States but worldwide, because this is
Right.
an epidemic that affects everybody worldwide. I don't care where
Right.
you live. Gun violence is a real
Exactly.
thing everywhere that you look at.
Right.
You took that time to do something that nobody would really take the time to do, or put their creative thought and frequency and energy into,
Right.
bro. And that's some real shit right there, bro, because at the
Appreciate
end of the day, no one can ever take that away from you, bro. You're out here doing it. You are what the actual principles of hip hop dictate that hip hop is. Like, people, like,
you.
you need to go, like,
Appreciate
because there's a difference between hip hop and rapping. There are
Right.
principles to
Right.
hip hop. There might be rules to rapping, but there are principles
Yes.
to hip hop. And 2equivalent, you are very much the epitome of what those principles of hip hop actually are, bro.
Appreciate
And that's something that you're gonna be able to wear, and you should wear as a badge of honor, bro, because you need to. I'm just tell
you.
you straight like that. You need to, bro. You've
Yeah.
earned that, bro. And that's real talk,
Appreciate
man. That's real
appreciate you.
talk. You want to share anything before we start to let you get on, back to your family for the rest of the night, and about the rest of your Monday here. Any bars you want to share from the track? Anything that you just want to share in general?
um
Specific about the track or to the track that you've maybe not shared or spoke on yet this evening with this conversation.
to the Guns Down. Not really. I just want everyone to go and listen to the song. It's out on all platforms. I want you to take your perspective of the song, or take my bars and see if you figure out like, is that what he said, or you put it, you know what I'm saying? So I want y'all to just listen to it and get your perspective off, you know what I'm saying? And then hit me up on Instagram or TikTok or email, let me know if you like the song. Um, you know, it's worldwide thing. It's not just in your neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? It's all around the world, and you know what I'm saying? Just want everybody to start supporting the movement, you know what I'm saying? And it's definitely needed, especially this day and age, you know what I'm saying? We need to start talking to the youth, and the youth, you know what I'm saying? We need to start having more activities even for the youngsters, you know what I'm saying? Like the recreation centers, most of those are gone. You know what I'm saying? There's no like activities out here for the youth that we need to start doing more for the youth. So as they get older, they can, you know what I'm saying, go in the right direction, and they can tell their young ones, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, we just all need to bond together, you know what I'm saying? White, black, doesn't matter who we are, we all the same. We all bleed the same. We
You're
all need
right,
to
bro.
stay.
We're humans. We're
And
humans at the end of the day. We're all
yeah,
humans.
it takes a village. It takes a village, man. It takes a village.
No, you're right. And with respect to the movement and which you are very much a part of with putting this guns down track out, you're right. I mean, you said it a couple times, it takes a village, but you know what? We need people. We need to turn that village from a village to a town, that
Yes,
town to a city, that
yes,
city to a region, that region to a state, that
yes.
state, like it's
Worldwide.
it, yeah, because it's not going to happen overnight. But you know
No, it's
what?
not.
We have these conversations weekly for a reason, because it's something that we can do that costs nothing,
Yeah,
nothing. People to talk about the real shit that's going on in this world, especially in a world of fake.
yeah, man.
You know, especially where people live literally. God, man, it's crazy because some people literally live their lives via social media, or
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least what they're seeing on social media, and that's how they live their lives.
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
why that's why we have this platform and these conversations, whether it
Yes,
be
yeah,
put the guns down, or we outside, or the we outside live, because
yeah.
we want to be a platform where people know if you're going to tune into us, you know that you are getting real, raw, and
Right,
authentic conversation that's unscripted. We literally
right,
just hop.
right,
The only thing that we know ever about our show is who's going to be the guest that day.
right.
That's it. And then it's just having human conversation, because that's how you can learn things, um, not just about others, but you can actually learn some shit about yourself as well if you
Right,
tap
right.
into some real authentic shit that's going on. And that's all we try to do here, on the Put the Guns Down We Outside and the We Outside platform. So Dooney tapped in for the final countdown here of our conversation, because we're going to be bringing his Queen Vanessa on. But 2equivalent, obviously, from me, I'll let Dooney speak for himself. Dooney, I'm gonna let you give any final thoughts before we let 2equivalent go, before the onions cut you off again, bro.
Hey, bro, like, man, just keep doing what you're doing, King. Stay on your path, bro. And remember, you got a story to tell, and them kids need to hear how you made it, bro. That's called succeeding in life, bro, with
Yes.
missing the bullshit.
Hmm.
They need to hear that from you, King. Not
Yes.
all of us can tell them that side. We have to
Right.
tell them this other side. It take us both. I
Yes.
want to honor you for that, bro, for standing in your purpose, King, and
Thank you.
understanding that at a young age, bro, and give tribute to your family that stayed behind you.
Yes. Yes.
And we just be that to the young men and young women out there, you know what I mean, that don't have, that guidance like that, bro. But man, keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Appreciate
It
you.
was a pleasure to speak to you and know you, bro. Hopefully we can sit down at the table, break bread, you know
Definitely.
what I mean? And
Definitely.
work on something
Definitely.
together in the future, King.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Thanks for
it's
Definitely.
gonna
coming, man.
Dooney is gonna happen, because we're literally we got some things working to equivalent. So
Okay.
you're gonna probably see Dooney and I in person someday, a lot sooner than you think, bro. A lot sooner than you
Okay.
think. So
All right.
we're obviously locked in. We've been locked in like that. So I appreciate your time. I know
Yes.
Dooney
Yes.
appreciates your time. I know anybody that's tapped in with us live, or who's gonna watch this conversation after the fact, is gonna very much appreciate it as well. So
Yeah.
thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you for the human being that you are, that is trying to give something positive to the world, in a world that is filled with nothing but fake, bro. So
Right.
keep doing it. You got supporters here on the We Outside platform, but I think you already knew that. Otherwise, it wouldn't be your second time around. We're always
Right.
keeping an eye on you, bro. And the door is always open, bro. No different than it was, and welcoming you back for a second time. So We appreciate you, my brother. We will
Definitely,
definitely be tapping in soon. Any final
yes.
thoughts before any final words that you want to give to anybody that's watching now or listening after the fact of this being filmed that you want to share?
I just want to say, check me out. I'm on all platforms. Put the guns down. Keep supporting the movement, and appreciate both of you guys again for having me on this platform. You guys definitely appreciate you guys.
Nah, we
Yes, sir.
appreciate you. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, that of course has been our brother and family member 2 times around
Yes,
now.
sir. Yes,
Two
sir.
equivalent hip hop artists out of the DMV. And for those who are not familiar with that, that is the Delaware, Maryland, Virginia corridor over there on the East Coast.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
if you tapped into this conversation that is running live right now, it's going to be available to you on YouTube. So go back and run it. We have many other conversations exactly like this one for you to explore, because that's all we're doing. We're having human conversations, and we're
Yes.
going to take about 5-10 minute break. And Dooney, we're coming right back because we have another conversation coming right at us. So stay tuned, people. Go take yourself a leg stretching break, a bathroom break, a snack break, smoke break, whatever. Because Dooney and I are getting off for like 5 or 10 minutes. So we're coming right back in. So I'm hitting the end stream right now. So tune back in with us, people, because we outside.